Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mary and I'm so excited that you're here with me today. Guys, it is so sunny in Michigan today and I am loving it. Today was just one of those days where I allowed myself to sleep in and I woke up and the sun was shining on me through my bedroom window. And I was like, oh my goodness, God, is this spring? Are we like about to enter spring? And then I was like, okay, Mary, we're only in January. But like I said, I am so excited that you're here. Today, I'm gonna go back to kind of what I was doing in my first few videos, and that was talking a little bit about the Catholic faith and talking about things that I really liked with the Catholic faith. Today, I'm going to be talking to you guys about 5 of my favorite books that really helped me grow in my understanding of who I am as a daughter of God, and just books that have really allowed me to go deeper into my faith life. There are a wide variety of different books that I'm going to mention, and I'm not going to give you an in-depth summary of each book, but I'm going to give you a brief overview so that maybe if you'd like to read this book, you can. The books I'm talking about today are more modern books. I'm not going to talk too much about the classical Catholic books like St. Catherine of Siena or St. Teresa of Lisieux or St. Augustine today. I'm going to be talking more about books that have helped me in my own spiritual journey as a modern Catholic woman. So let's get going, guys. So for me, I am an aunt and I have 5 nephews or nieces and they are adorable. I am not a mom, but I'm always seeking to find ways to grow in my own faith and also to help my nephews and my nieces and honestly just those around me grow closer to their faith as well. And so one of the books that I have found that I really enjoy is The Catholic All Year, and this book is by Kendra Tierney, and she's pretty well known if you're like a Catholic mom or whatnot, but like I said, I'm not a Catholic mom, and so when I found out about her book, I was like, well, I'm a Catholic aunt, I'd love to learn more. I do an Advent activity with my nephews where we start the day that Advent starts and we go until the end of Advent, and I just have different activities for them each day. It's like an Advent calendar thing, but I use a muffin pan. I put their activity on a piece of paper and then I put that in the muffin tin. So each day we take out a piece of paper from each muffin tin and there's an activity on it. Well, there are so many activities online for different feast days during Advent, but one of those resources that I really jumped into with this whole project, this Advent project, was this book. And she honestly does such a good job going throughout the whole liturgical year for Catholics and talking about tough subjects that you should talk about with your kids and when to bring them up so that it makes liturgical sense. So I just really appreciate her creativity and really bringing forth the Catholic faith and making it accessible to kids wherever they are in their stage of their faith life. And it was really good for me to learn about different saints as well and how I can better integrate the saints' lives into my own life. So highly recommend this book. I think it was like $20 or so, but honestly, I have used this book so much and I really appreciate it. The second book I want to talk to you guys about today is Saint Mother Teresa. And honestly, there are so many books about Mother Teresa that this is just one of many. But the reason that this one has such a significant role in my life is because my church was handing them out for a Christmas gift one year, and I was in college and I grabbed one. And I started reading this book, and I don't think I underlined it too much, only a few things, but literally this book changed my life, learning about who Mother Teresa was, Saint Mother Teresa, and I just understood her life more fully and wanted to know more about this woman. And so hence I went to India because of this book. So I'm not saying that if you read this book, you're going to be like, wow, she's amazing, I'm gonna go to India. But that's what happened with my life. So fair warning, if you really want to learn more about Mother Teresa's life, you might feel called to actually walk in her footsteps. The greatest thing about Saint Mother Teresa is that she had a lot of struggles. That's not a great thing, but the way that we can relate to her is so beautiful because she's so real about the struggles she's gone through. And I feel like as a person who is not perfect and who's striving towards holiness, just like Saint Mother Teresa, it really gives me a lot of hope. And especially the way that she treated the poor with love and tenderness is so amazing. This woman inspired millions of people just by the love that she would show each individual person. Small things with great love, right? And so I love Mother Teresa. This book is beautiful. It's written by, I think he's a priest, Father Leo Maasburg, who was born in Austria. So highly recommend this. Super cheap too. Go ahead, get it. My goodness, there are so many books I want to talk about, but the next book, this is the most recent book I've read. Oh, guys, it is so good. I was required to read it for my Encounter School ministry class, but I also have to read it for my psychology program too, which is great because I've already read it. But it is called Personal Prayer, and it's a guide for receiving the Father's love by Father Thomas Acklin and Father Boniface Hicks. Oh, guys, this book is so good. I was on a silent retreat when I started reading this book, and I was experiencing so much dryness in my prayer life. And then I remembered I had this book, so I grabbed it, and it literally helped me enter into the retreat so fully. But it's all about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and just how we can better listen to the Lord in our day-to-day lives. This book does such a good job showing that we are human, and how, because of our humanness, it can sometimes make it hard to communicate with a God who through Jesus Christ is both human and divine. But both of the authors really encourage us to enter into our brokenness as human beings, and to know that even though we're broken and that sin happens, that doesn't take away from the Father's goodness, and it doesn't take away from our goodness, and how we can still come to communicate with the Father. The Father wants to communicate with us. And through silence, they really, really talk about silence. Through silence, we're able to listen to what the Father has to say to us. But if we don't make time for silence, it's going to be so hard to hear what the Father is telling us and is revealing to us about who he is. So I really highly recommend this book. Super practical, and I just felt so loved as I was reading it. I was like, man, these priests know how to communicate with the human person. There's also a great podcast with Pints with Aquinas that interviewed Father Boniface Hicks, and literally the first 10 minutes of the podcast are just straight fire. So highly, highly recommend this book. I think it's a relatively new book within the last few years. And if you've read it, let me know, because it literally is amazing. Okay, so the next book is Be Healed. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I'm currently going back to school for a mental health certificate in Catholic counseling, mentorship, whatever you want to call it. But this book really helped me look more at the wounds in my own life, and just the ways in which I had maybe masked some of the things in my life. Bob Schuchts, the man who wrote this book, does a brilliant job at bringing in together the psychological sciences, but in a way that is unique to the Catholic reader who is reading it, or whoever is reading it, right? He really penetrates your heart with the truth of who Jesus is and how your identity is in Jesus. But then he also asks the questions of, like, how has this wound, or how has this person maybe made me not trust the Father? And how can I go deeper into that? So what I appreciate with this book is that at the end of each chapter or segment, whatever you want to call it, there's reflection questions. And I highly recommend that if you do read this book, you actually do what he is recommending you to do. Disclaimer, you might be at a place in your life where reading this book is really hard, but I think that's the beauty of this book, is that no matter where you are, I feel like each time you read it or like over it, there might be different things that stand out to you. And as you grow in your walk with God, you really start to unravel new things. So I feel like this is one of the books that you can keep rereading and it just doesn't get old. Oh my golly. Okay, the next book, this is so typically Catholic, but I just have to bring it up. I have read this book several times, and I feel like each time I read it, I just learn more about the Virgin Mother and just the beauty and the grace that she is to the world, even to this day. So that is True Devotion to Mary by St. Louis de Montfort. And this book, I used to be afraid of. I remember I did 33 Days to Morning Glory when I was out of college for the first time, and I was kind of nervous to do that one, but I was really excited about it as well. But I kind of saw True Devotion as like the next step to growing in my relationship with Mary. And I was like, Lord, I don't know, that sounds kind of intimidating. And people would say it's kind of hard to understand. But I tell you that I have seen girls in college who are freshmen read this book and have fallen in love with it. So I really believe that anyone can read this book, no matter where you are in your relationship with Mary. Whether you're really close to Mary or you feel really far away with her, I feel like the fact that you devour a chunk of this a little bit each day for 33 days makes it more doable. And if you mess up, you just keep going. But this book was hidden for a while. There's a reason why they couldn't find the manuscript for this book for a really long time. And it's because it's so good. And the Lord desires that many, many souls come to read this book and to know more about the Blessed Virgin Mother. Also, this picture is just beautiful. Oh, just enjoy that picture. I love this book. It is so good. Guys, that's a lot of different books that I talked about, but I would love to hear what your favorite books are below, so make sure to comment. Also, like and subscribe to this channel so you can hear me talk more about books and so that we can pray together. Anyway, I'm so grateful for you guys, and I hope you have a great day. God bless, and we'll see you soon. Bye.